Hello all, welcome back to Ma Gurukul. Today's topic we will be discussing about the pros and cons of online learning, right, for children aging from 3 plus till the degree level, right, because of course degree level they are not children, they are adults, but then still till that level we will just have a quick review. Now this video might be a little long because there are a lot of topics which I need to deal or stress with, and I also need to talk from three perspectives: the parent perspective, the teacher's perspective, and the students or the learner's perspective. Alright, so let's go with the pros for the parent's perspective. Now, majority of the urban population being nuclear families. Now this is a boon, that is online teaching is a boon, because at least the parents who, majority of them again being both the parents being working parents, so they need their time to do their online work, and hence if the child is occupied with the online teaching, they are getting some amount of time for themselves to complete their work. So that is one positive point of online learning for parents who are both working and are in the nuclear family. So that is one pro. Now another pro is, again, if the mother is also not working but she is involved in the household chores, she also needs the time to finish all her work. So again it is a boon for, or it is a positive point for the parent to have his or her own time. Alright. Now if we look at the other aspect, that the parents are actually able to know what exactly is being taught, because they are able to see or they are able to hear what's happening in an online classroom, which usually does not happen in an offline classroom. That means what happens in the school, the parent might not know a complete picture until and unless the child comes and tells it to you. So that is another positive point. The third positive point is you are helping your child learn, learn in a continuous process, and it is not hindered, or the learning process is not stopped. So and hence you are allowing the children to learn and continue with this learning process. So these three are the positive points from the parent's point of view. Now what are the positive points from the teacher's point of view? The teacher is updated because he or she has learned, has put a lot of effort to learn this new method of teaching. Of course, there are a lot of schools, K-12 schools and ICSE, CBSE schools which use smartphones, which there are schools which even use iPad learning systems. So for them it might not be a very difficult task, because they are already got used to technology in using, or technology in learning process, or technology in teaching learning process. But for schools who are medium private schools, or the schools which are under the semi-government schools or the government schools, yes, for them they have learnt this new technique of teaching children online and put a lot of effort, and hence the teachers are one step forward in developing their teaching skills, alright, or relearning their teaching skills with technology. Then apart from that, the teacher's positive point is they are still able to connect and be there in their passion for teaching, because there are definitely a lot of teachers who are passionate learners as well as teachers, right? So they are allowing their instincts, they are allowing their ideas, they are allowing the teaching process to continue in their passionate teaching. Another positive point for the teachers is they are able to track the assessment of the children, or they are able to track the learning of the children using technology based technology based tools. So the tracking is much more easier, the attendance tracking is much more easier, because you can actually come to know, you are able to actually see how many children are concentrating and how many are not. Then you are able to, you have a wide range of option. Now you have the teachers have the options of teaching them through the WhatsApp audio or the video, or sending through them through the links, right, your YouTube lives or your YouTube videos, because like how I am doing my YouTube own channel only during, I started this only now, webinars, Zoom, Facebook. So you have been exposed, the teachers have been exposed to a varied options available for them, even Google Smart Boards, right, because in higher classes I think you are using Google Smart Boards. So you have a varied option available, unlike of course the teaching aids. So these are the only teaching aids, or the technology is the only teaching aid for you as of now. So these are the positive options, for positive points from the teacher's point of view. Now from the children point of view, children are able to link, or are able to at least have a hope that yes, my friend is still there, or my friend, I'm looking at my friend, I'm looking at my teacher, I'm looking at my class, I'm looking at all of my friends in the class in one single portal of a webinar or a Zoom class. So they're able to relate and get connected, so that emotional development is not shattered. Their emotional and psychological development is not shattered. This is one very important positive point for the children, that they being connected to their teachers, they being connected to the friends, right, and hence the school system. Now another positive point for the students is they have various or wide range of options available. I'll give you an example how. Say for example, I want to learn chess, right. So now I can choose the online platform of selecting who my coach can be, how much time he or she can teach me in a one-to-one class, how many tournaments I can participate and improve my skills, and again go on and check my analysis on where I am going wrong. I can choose my coaches even who are not in India, and go on to choose a grandmaster, an international master. Alright, so these are the options available. I'm just giving you one example. So same thing happens with a piano class, same thing happens with a instrument class, same thing happens with a math class. Say for example, I am a very good like for example, I am a student who is doing my BSc mathematics and wants to learn a lot of things available. So I can Google search and go for any teacher who is not available here, or university which is not available probably in India, and want to learn more from the abroad universities or from the universities outside India, right. So various options available for children and students. Now same thing happens even in the children who are in 4 years of age, because I can see in my Facebook post a lot of pop-ups coming up, online phonics class, online drawing class, online writing classes, handwriting classes, online art and craft classes. So there are wide range of options available to you, which you can choose according to your time and convenience. Alright, so that is one major positive point for the students. Another one is one-to-one learning. Usually in the school, when the teacher is teaching, or when the teacher is helping you in the teaching learning process, the teacher might choose 1 or 2 or 3 different methods to teach one particular concept. But these 3 methods might not suit all the 30 in the class, because every child's learning is different. Few children learn better with kinesthetic skills, few children learn better with audio visual skills, few children learn better with reading and writing skills or with graphomotor skills, few children learn better with just talking and delivering lectures and going through the technology based YouTube videos or videos, that is again visual skills. So there are different skills, physical skills, audio motor skills. So there are different variety of learning which the child usually grasps from, different skills from which he or she grasps from. Tactile learning also. Now in the one-to-one learning, the teacher can actually modify her teaching process based on the child's learning skill. Say for example, if I am a child who loves to learn through music, or who loves to learn through bodily movements, so the teacher on the online mode can change her lesson plan to suit me as according to me. That means probably teach me through rhymes, teach me through actions, teach me through songs and music. Alright. So same topic to another child can be taught using graphomotor skills or using just writing and reading skills. And hence the child is very blessed to have this one-to-one teaching sessions which can happen in an online portal, which is very difficult in a group format or in a classroom environment. So these are the positive points for the children. Now let's go to the cons, that is the negatives. right? I don't term it as negatives, but then the drawbacks, right? Now, drawbacks again from three terms: from the parents' perspective, from the learner's perspective, and from the teacher's perspective. So let's start from the parents again. Now, the drawbacks for the parents are, there are so many parents who are in the middle class and the lower middle class societies, even in the upper middle class also, who might not have the essential equipments or the electronic gadgets necessary for the online learning, and hence there might be some financial crunches or internet connection problems, or not able to buy a smartphone if it is again the lower middle class or the below poverty line, not able to buy gadgets to help their children learn through online. This is one major problem which I feel is largely affecting children in the rural background and children who are in the slums, children who are learning through NGOs, and children who are in the hilly areas. Because we don't talk about only metro cities, right? We need to talk about children who are present all over India. There, for them, the network issues again is a huge criteria. Their learning is getting hindered. So this is one major drawback from the parents' point of view. Now, another problem from the another drawback from the parents' point of view is the parent is continuously hovering around the child, or if there is an online class available, or if an online class is happening, or the parent is always coming and having a look on what is happening and what the child is doing, what the teacher is saying, and so this hampers the child's teaching learning process. Imagine if I ask you parents to do something, say for example do an activity, or ask you to talk about one simple fruit for 5 minutes, and while you are talking I am continuously moving around you and making a lot of faces, coming and focusing into your eyes, coming and seeing what you are doing. Would you be able to deliver the same lecture without disturbance? Is it not difficult for you? Same thing is happening with the children. So this is another drawback, that over supervising of the parents, which is affecting the learners teaching learning process, especially from the learners point of view, and of course to the teachers also. Another thing is yes, the parents' concern on the health of the child and on the development of the child, especially with their eyesight, their physical development, having the children having pain in their neck and back. This is again another issue. You are absolutely right. How much is the main question from the parents' point of view? How much should the child learn from online teaching? Because I told you again in the pros that the child has an option of learning his chess, his music, his mathematics, his art and craft, his writing, handwriting classes, his phonic classes, everything online. Now, for everything the child is going to learn online, how many hours will the child sit down and keep looking or gazing into the gadget? That is definitely going to have an impact on his retina or on his eyesight, or on his muscles, which is affecting his neck and his back because of the position of he or she being sitting in the place. Right, and their entire physical development, because there is no physical activity, again they are going to put on a lot of weight, and which is going to have it's a vicious cycle, right? It's going to continue. So that is again one major drawback from the parents' perspective, that the children are looking into the screen, or the screen time is getting too much. So the drawbacks from the teacher's point of view is, the teacher needs to make her teaching materials or teaching aids available or well prepared in advance, which usually will be available in the schools. Now schools being closed, and the teacher can't carry the teaching aids, because the same teaching aids might be used by another social studies teacher or another science teacher, like maps. I'm talking about maps, globes, in science models, then lab equipments, and then probably in computers. If you go to computer science, then we might have these interactive boards, their digital tracking systems, right? Now these cannot be provided in the online learning system, and hence the teacher needs to do everything from scratch. Say if I have to teach you the map of India or the map of Karnataka, I will have to make my teaching aid of map of Karnataka ready to you before I teach it to you online, and that's gonna take a tremendous effort from the teacher. And after so much effort, imagine if she is holding a map of Karnataka in the online class, there will be students who will be judging on her drawing skills, there will be parents who will be judging on her drawing skills, and then tell, oh, I can draw better than this teacher. So that is a major burden or a major what do you call, a stress on the teacher, right? Because she's always being judged for anything she's going to do online, even probably the way she sits, the way what she's wearing, the way she is talking, the way her mouth has been moving. There will be parents, there will be grandparents, and there will be students also who will be sitting down there and judging the teacher and making facial expressions which will be clearly visible to the teacher, and hence affecting her or she being completely herself, and allowing her talking skills or her thinking skills to come properly in the correct format. Another drawback for the teacher is children being restless, children getting bored, parents and grandparents being involved. Now I read in one article in Times of India that there was this online class where the teacher was teaching one rhyme to the nursery children, and she was all wearing a chudidar and everything, and then probably dancing around and telling say Humpty Dumpty, and then the parent and the grandparent is singing in the online class, sat on a wall. The child is not telling anything, and then the teacher continues to finish the rhyme. The entire rhyme is finished, the parent and the grandparent is telling what is the next line, but the child is not involved. So this is what happens sometimes in the online classes. We have overexcited grandparents and overexcited parents being involved in the online class, but not giving space for the child to interact. And then when the class ends and the teacher tells, okay, tomorrow we will start off with say 1 2 buckle my shoe, or if she doesn't tell it, then the parent has a question, ma'am, tomorrow what rhyme? So that they want to get ready with the rhyme. So this is what happens for the teachers, where the parents and the grandparents and even the children not responding to them, or getting bored to them, or just dozing off because it is difficult for the children to focus onto one particular screen for a long time. So this is another drawback from the teacher's point of view. Now from the learner's point of view, oh, there are so many. I told you this video is going to be very long. I hope I will be able to cover up everything. From the learner's point of view, the drawbacks are numerous. If I am a child who is 3+ years old and just beginning into the parent joined me, put me into the nursery class, I have not gone one single day to the school, and I hence don't know how my school is, what is there in the school, who is my teacher, who are my friends, what my classroom looks like. I have absolutely no knowledge about it, and suddenly the school comes up with this concept of online classes, and you make the child sit in front of the electronical gadget and ask the child to gaze through it and try to see and understand that this is the teacher, these are your friends, and you need to follow. It is quite difficult, or really difficult. So for children who are in the nursery and especially starting school for the first time this year, it is highly difficult for them to correlate to their school, to their teacher and to their friends, because they have never seen them in person. Alright, but another drawback is for children who are in, say, class 1, class 2, LKG, UKG. Again, for them, when you will have a virtual classroom, it is a disaster. Now what a virtual classroom means, I bring my entire classroom online. That meaning 30 children, I will see small squares of 30 children and the teacher there, and I need to look at them. So while I am looking into the screen, I can see 30 different expressions and the teacher telling something. It is highly difficult for the children to focus and concentrate, or to observe and look into only the teacher and not observe the other 29 frames. It is not possible. So please don't have virtual classrooms or live that classroom exactly copied into electronical mode. No, not recommended for preschool children, because it is highly not possible. Instead, you can have a one-to-one session, probably a YouTube video or a Facebook post or a Facebook video. You can shoot it and give it to them. Let the child go through it, and with the help of the parent, do it. Now again, it will be a drawback for the parents, that the parent will have to do everything for the child, whether it is the homework or the craft work or say and tell or some rhyme. Everything the parent will have to tell. He or she will just get only some hint from the teacher. Same thing happens again when the teachers are going online, or when you create a WhatsApp group and send the homeworks. Like for example, today the homework is the child will have to write CAT cat, BAT bat in cursive letters. So the teacher will take a video of how to write CAT cat, BAT bat, send it in the WhatsApp group and ask the child to complete that page. Now this child and the parent will be confused how to start, where to start, when to start, how to finish it. They'll have a lot of questions which is unanswered. So again, that is a very difficult stage for the children to understand what is being told and writing, because usually I keep telling you that usually in the teaching learning process, we never adapt only one method of teaching for children to learn. Alright, we usually do it in 2 or 3 different methods so that it caters to majority of the children. But in online learning, that is not possible, that's not helping. Say for example, the teacher is giving a video to help the child learn alphabets or learn something through tactile learning. Now the teacher will also be having a question whether the parent really helped the child learn through tactile learning, or did the child learn the correct method of learning through tactile methods. Now these are a lot of things which is unanswered. And hence, from the learner's point of view, the drawbacks are very, very numerous, or they are never ending, because I can relate to them. I can see how these children are facing a lot of issues, especially with their screen time, not being able to focus. They feel sleepy, drowsy, and their eating habits, their sleeping patterns, everything has taken a toll during this COVID cases, during the COVID time. Alright, so because of all of these various variations and the differences in their learning process, their sleeping patterns, their eating habits, their play, not getting enough play time, alright. So their body and their mind, their psychological development, their emotional development, their cognitive development, their visual learning development, there are a lot of things which has taken a setback. But then again, for children who are in 8th, 9th and 10th standard, who will be appearing for board exams the next year or the years to come, for them you can tell that they are at least learning or trying to learn at least 10 to 20% of the portions through online. But however, their practical learning is taking a setback, because I am a science teacher. I know that if they don't learn it practically, it is highly difficult for them to understand some chemical reaction. If they are not doing it by themselves, and if they don't see the result by themselves, it is highly difficult or impossible for the children to just listen to what is happening, that if you mix this and this, it will become red. It is not possible. Alright, even the simple litmus test, if they do it by themselves, they learn it better. So their practical learning skills have taken a setback. The same thing happens with geography, with history, civics. with mathematics, because imagine how the child will learn mathematics. The child is going to just sit down and look at the teacher being able to do. The teacher will not be able to come and check out what the child has been doing, or where he or she is going wrong, which step needs to be corrected. Now this takes a lot of effort, a really lot of effort. But then I would just like to tell one thing. It's not my conclusion though, I still have a lot of things to talk, but then this video has really got big, because I told you I usually don't like shooting videos more than 10 to 12 minutes, and I think this has gone up to 20 plus minutes. So I would like to end it up or wind it up and give a conclusion. I would like to tell one thing, that all of them, that is the parents, the teachers and the students, are having a lot of patience and trying their level best to cope up with the situation, right? Hats off to each one of you, because each one of you are doing your best from your perspective, all right? At the same time, look at both the pros and the cons for each child. I mean, for your child, particularly your child. Don't bother about what the neighbor's child is doing, what the other children are doing. Just focus at your child, because every child's learning process is difficult. I mean, it's different. So if your child is enjoying the online classes, go ahead with it. If your child is not enjoying the online classes, don't stop the learning. I would not recommend any parent to stop any learning process. I would allow, or I would request the parents to help them out in their learning process without hindering their learning process. Meaning, when the online process is happening, and if your child is not able to sit down there, or is doing a lot of gestures which is not supposed to be done to anybody, or is misbehaving in the online class, please help your child to settle down, to help him or her concentrate in the class, or in a positive way. That's the only help you can do, both for the teacher and your child, and hence for all of the children who will be learning at the same time. All right. And from the parents' point of view, I know you are having a difficult time, because you are supposed to do your online work at home, you are supposed to do your daily chores at home, you are supposed to take care of your children, their food, and you are not getting your own time of rest, or your own free time to do shopping, or there are a lot of things, lot of emotional things involved, lot of psychological things involved for both the mothers, the fathers, the grandparents also, and hence the children. All right, so each one of us are trying to put our level best to cope up with this situation. So let us try to put our efforts, and let us try to choose which online mode is good for your child, whether it is the webinar mode, or whether it is the Zoom class mode, or whether it is your YouTube live mode, or whether it is just helping you helping the child learn by just the parents, right? That is WhatsApp group method. So there are different online portals available now. So choose the one which best suits your child. Don't hinder your child's learning willingly, or knowingly or unknowingly. All right, help your children behave in the online classes. Help them respect their teachers, because the teachers are also doing their level best in revamping themselves on the method of teaching or the mode of teaching. Yes, one request for the teachers also I have: please make sure that you make the online classes lively. Don't make the children sit down and listen to your online classes for an hour. It's not going to happen. So this is another request I have made a request for all the three: the learners, the teachers and the parents. So no partiality. So I hope I'm being impartial to all of you. There are few more to be talked about. There are lots more to be talked about these online learning portals and platforms, and how, when, where, how much. But then I think we will end up with this, and should be able to answer majority of your questions. Right? The teaching methods might vary from teacher to teacher. Please don't judge the teacher, and the teachers, I have a request: please don't judge the parents and your learners too, because we don't know what is happening in their house, or in what with what great difficulty they are sitting down in the online class. That also we are not aware of. Yeah, we won't be aware about. So for all of us, all the three of us, let's continue to help each other and let's continue to help the children in their learning processes. Alright, thank you so much. I hope you will like this video. If you do like it, then please do like, share and subscribe, or pass it on to your friends who might feel that this or whom you might feel that this video is helpful. Okay, thank you so much. Signing off from Ma Gurukul, this is Shweta. Bye bye.